If your washing machine has suddenly lost the ability to spin or agitate, meaning turns on, it fills up with water, but it doesn't actually spin or do anything, it just kind of makes noise, then there's a very good chance that with this video and a $20 part, you can save yourself a call to the repairman and money. Now, there are typically 3 things that can usually go wrong with a washing machine when it stops to spin, when it stops spinning. That can be either a switch, a capacitor, or the belt. Now, if your machine is actually, like I said, filling up and it's making noise, and you could tell that the motor is spinning, you can hear a motor, then I would probably count out the switch and the capacitor and go ahead and look at the belt, which is very easy to get to. But before you start to diagnose it, make sure that you know your washer's exact make and model number. You can usually find them underneath the lid, like mine was. It was on the lower right hand corner, and mine actually had a QR code too, and this will make finding parts an absolute breeze. Making a weird noise. Alright, so step 1, you're going to want to shut off your power supply, and when you do that, probably will have some water in the lines. So what I did is I just took and put a bucket down there. Sorry it's dirty, but I mean, what do you expect? I usually do that. Now we'll take our pliers and then obviously just remove both of those, and then put it right into the bucket just so the excess kind of drips into there. And then we will unplug it, and we will also remove the drain tube, and you kind of just stick it into the washer there. I'll show you here in a second. I've made a mess. Okay, so yeah, not much, because I already tried to crack them without turning the water off in perfect Joe fashion. All right, so yeah, we've got it unplugged. The drain, we just kind of kick it into there. You can even kind of close it, and now we can move it. I'm gonna move it out to where I have more room. Okay, so now what I did here was, there is a little bit of water in it, and it's actually kind of helping stabilize itself. I just have it pushed up against the wall. Oh my gosh, the cat's about to get under there. Be very careful when you're doing this, but so Garfield already figured it out too. So here's this kind of bottom part. This is the main assembly for the motors for the agitator and the spin cycle. And I don't know if we can really see it too well. There's a lot of black debris everywhere. So now when I look in there, you gotta look through like these little cracks. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see it. Not really, but I could see the belt still on there. I'm pretty sure that the belt actually is still there. It's just like it's eaten out. It's gone. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually remove this plastic piece and then go from there. Be careful when you're doing this. Maybe have somebody hold it for you. Okay, so the belt is on it. Look at all of the missing belt. So that's what it looks like. And this is definitely the problem, I guarantee you. And the main thing is because we usually overload this thing. You do not want to overload your washer. This is what happens. Now you will hear like the motor running and everything, and it's just not spinning or doing anything. That's because this belt is like supposed to have ribs on there. They're completely flat. And when there's, you know, enough force against it, when this starts to spin with like, you know, weight of wet clothes in there, the one side will spin, but then the main part that's supposed to spin for the barrel inside actually will not spin, because this thing will just, you know, just sitting there spinning for no reason. So this should be pretty straightforward. This should be a pretty easy belt to replace and just put back on there. I think I could just kind of like pull it off. For now, I don't think we really have to remove either of these pulleys, but if we do on the way back in, if we have to, we'll do it. But God, do you guys hear Garfield? All right, so here's the replacement belt. I had to go to a special store actually to get it. I'm sure you can order these online. Make sure you get proper GE replacement if you have a GE. I wouldn't really go too cheap on this. When you go to like Lowe's or one of the hardware stores, one of the big box stores, they do have like general kind of replacement belts that are kind of a mixed bag with different ones in them. Those aren't as wide as these, so you really want to get, you know, the proper one for your machine. But yeah, let's go ahead and pop this on. All right, so here we've got the old one next to the new one. And yeah, there's a big difference in the mass between the two. So I'm going to try to do this one-handedly, and show you how to put this back on. It's really not too hard. What you're going to want to do is take one end of it, put it on the actual ribbed part, and then this one's going to be more of a flat. And then what you do is you kind of put it over the one side, kind of like you are if you've ever had to put a chain back on a bicycle, kind of like that. And I don't think I'm going to need any kind of special tool, but then we could just kind of pull it like this. Hopefully this will work. Hold on one second. All right, so you totally can do that. There's a little lip right here, and you just kind of want to make sure that the belt is under that, but then just kind of do like I did, like I said, put the one side on, and you got to use two hands and hold it really tightly and just spin it, kind of exactly like putting a chain back on a bicycle. If you've never done that, I'm sure you could find somewhere on here on YouTube how to find that. But as you see, I do not have the plastic cover back on it. There's a ground screw back on the back that I do have connected though, because I would imagine you need that. But I'm going to go ahead and run it, and we're going to set the borescope down here and try to watch this in action as it's working. I really should have cleaned up all of this plastic and blew it out, but I can do that at the end. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We're going to do a test load. Okay, so belt is back on, it's installed, and it is time to clean my very favorite flannel that I've ever had in my life. If you know, you know. So I'm going to do a very, very, very small load. Is that too much for one flannel? All right. Yeah, so here's my borescope. Just kind of curious how this thing worked. And yeah, that's a lot of stress on that belt, man. Especially when you overload it like we do. But as you can tell, yeah, success. So thanks, guys. Don't overload your washers. All right, so this is about as clean as it's going to get, but hey, we got it clean. So I just kind of wanted to go over a couple more things before we leave, safety related, and possibly some other things that could be wrong with your washer. One thing is be very, very careful when you are working on anything with electricity. If you're looking into capacitors and stuff like that, that is where I would probably suggest going to someone else, maybe calling a repairman on that. Another very common thing to go wrong with these washers is the switch, which is the lock switch, which actually the lid lock switch. If that sees that it's open, it will not allow it to spin. Now my washer will allow it to agitate with the lid open, but it will not spin. I don't know if all washers are like that. That is something to definitely be mindful of. Another thing is you might have a lot of water in your washer because of, you know, it didn't get to actually pump it out after filling. And in that case as well, be very, very careful. Probably have somebody help you, and maybe put something underneath the washer when you set it back to kind of hold it up if you're doing the belt. So there you go. I hope that helped you out. If you want to learn how to repair things like maybe cars, check out this playlist up here. And if you're into audio and stuff like that, go ahead and check out this video over here or somewhere over there, and there'll be a lot more for you. And we got a lot more coming up too. But yeah, have a good one.